In 2024, Taiwan boxer Lin Yu-ting became the target of much online abuse regarding her eligibility to compete in women's sports at the Olympics. Critics claim that she was transgender or that she was actually a man based on her appearance. The attacks caused big waves in Taiwanese society, igniting a debate about gender nonconformity. But the news resonated especially deep with a 70-year-old woman from Pingtung. More than 20 years ago, Chen Jun-ju lost her teenage son, who was bullied relentlessly at school for presenting a more feminine demeanor. Now known as the Rose Boy, his death ignited a movement in support of gender diversity that is still active today. Our Sunday special report.
70-year-old Chen Jun-ju runs a beauty salon in her home in Pingtung, where she's now busy doing her neighbor's hair. She chats with her clients about current events. One of the recent topics is the harassment that Taiwanese gold medalist Lin Yu-ting faced at the Paris Olympics.
Perhaps she doesn't have a chest or long hair, but why should people say all that about her? I'm very happy that she persevered. But seeing how the entire world bullied her made me really upset.
News of gender-based bullying or sexism deeply disturb and anger Ms. Chen, as she knows firsthand the hurt this kind of abuse can cause. Her own son, Yong-chih, was subjected to mistreatment like this before his death.
Yong-chih was with me for 15 years, and I've cried for him for more than 20 years now. He's been gone for 24 years.
Chen's tears have long dried up, but she still deeply misses her son.
他放学回来哦，我都在田里工作，晚上我做头发，他洗澡洗好了，你今日洗身躯啊呢？哇吼！
After he showered, he'd tell me to go take a shower while he cooked some food. He'd always make veggies and rice for us. Whenever I was tired, he'd sit by my side and give me a back rub.
Yong-chih was a caring and kind son who liked spending time cooking, planting flowers, and knitting. But his gentle personality was a source of worry for his mother amid the conservative society of the time.
我一直找医生，心理医师。
I took him to see doctors and psychiatrists. He even went to the hospital at Kaohsiung Medical University. But the doctors said that it was I who had a problem, not him. They said, why should children have to behave in certain ways to be acknowledged as boys or girls?
The doctor's words were a wake-up call for Yong-chih's family. But although they let him live life as his true self, not everyone was so accepting. Back at school, Yong-chih's classmates bullied him because of his gender nonconformity.
他们的小孩都会被人家讲说是比较娘娘腔，不像男生嘛。他会比
They said that he was effeminate, that he didn't look like a boy, and that he had a limp wrist. He liked singing. When he went to the toilet, his classmates would pull down his trousers, saying they wanted to see if he was male or female.
从后面踢他、打他，或者是强行脱他的裤子。
They would kick him from the back and hit him, and even forcefully pull down his pants. To avoid the bullies, he would leave class 5 minutes before the bell so that there'd be nobody there while he went to the toilet.
On April 20th, 2000, Yong-chih left class 5 minutes before the bell to go to the toilet as usual. But this time, he didn't come back. He was found on the floor, lying in a pool of blood.
When we found him, we were getting the food ready for lunchtime. A student found him in the toilets. He had fallen down and there was blood on the floor.
Yong-chih was taken to hospital where he later passed away. Being just 15 years old and in good health, people wondered how he could have possibly died from a fall.
检察官认为是他滑倒在地板，就头撞到地板。
Investigators determined that he had slipped and hit his head on the floor, but when we visited him at the hospital, doctors said that it seemed like he had been struck with an item in a fabric sling. I think that now it's too late to know what actually happened.
Prosecutors filed a lawsuit against 3 members of staff at the school for negligence leading to death. After 6 years in the courts, the case was closed, and it was determined that Yong-chih's death was caused by negligence on the school's part. Outside the judicial procedures, the case drew attention to the issue of harassment against gender non-conforming people.
It wasn't until his death that I found out he was leaving class 5 minutes early to go to the toilet. I was devastated. I felt that Yong-chih was not the only person in Taiwan facing this kind of treatment. I can't save my son anymore. He's gone already. But what I can do is save other vulnerable kids.
This is the only video footage of Yong-chih before his death. His mother turned her grief and anger into motivation to speak with other parents and children in a similar situation to her son. The incident was part of the reason why the Taiwan Gender Equity Association was formed in 2002. 2 years later, in 2004, the Gender Equity Education Act was passed. A song by Lin Yu-ting titled Womanly further raised awareness about Yong-chih's story. Its title in Mandarin means Rose Boy.
I made sure his death wasn't in vain. His story has saved many, many people. At least everyone will remember him now. The day that it all happened, April 20th, is now Taiwan's Gender Equity Education Day.
The school toilets where the tragedy occurred have been renovated to commemorate Yong-chih. The boys' room now bears a rose, while the girls' has a tree. They symbolize that boys can be delicate and beautiful like roses, and girls strong and sturdy like trees.
在我们的通报案件数里面
In most of the reports filed for sexual harassment, the victims are women. But in gender-related bullying cases, the majority of the victims, about 70%, are men. We think that bullying happens because of our society's strict binary framework regarding masculinity and femininity. It's also about the way that society constructs masculinity.
Over in Kaohsiung, boxing coach Wu Yifei also faced discrimination. When she was in university, she was harassed, just like Olympic boxer Lin Yu-ting, for not conforming to traditional feminine standards.
我曾经大学去比赛排球的时候，我后面坐的区刚好是对手的啦啦队。
When I was in university, I competed in a volleyball tournament. In the seats behind me was the cheerleading squad of the rival team. They kept saying things like, "Why is this man harassing the girls?" and "Go and join the men's team." And "Are you a boy or a girl?"
Wu paid them no mind and led her team to victory with one great serve after another. She thought this kind of discrimination would stay in the volleyball court, but she was wrong. One of her teachers went as far as threatening to fail her for not wearing feminine clothes.
有一门课是大学必修课，老师就在课堂上就看着我的样子，第一堂课。
The teacher of one of my required courses was doing the roll call in the first session. He looked up and down at me and asked if I was a boy or a girl. I said I was a girl. Then he said, "Do you want to become a boy? Is that why you're dressed like this?" I told him I didn't have any skirts, and he said, "How can you be a girl and not wear skirts? If you don't wear a skirt to class at least once, I'll fail you."
Wu previously advocated for gender equality at an NGO, and she says that awareness surrounding gender issues has improved greatly in Taiwan in recent years. For instance, in 2019, Taiwan became the first country in Asia to legalize same-sex marriage. And in 2021, Taiwan ranked 7th globally in the Gender Inequality Index, signifying a high level of equality. But still, conservative forces remain.
像 J.K. 罗琳，她就是很知名，国际性上对于跨性别这个是很有敌意的。
For example, J.K. Rowling is known internationally for hostility towards trans people. I think what happened this time that she wasn't very clear about Lin Yu-ting's gender identity, so Rowling made accusations and attacks against Lin based on her appearance.
我觉得台湾算是蛮进步、蛮开明，所以这次林依婷这个事。
I think Taiwan as a whole is quite progressive and open-minded. So many people were very angry and upset about everything Lin Yu-ting had to go through.
很感谢大家，就是全台湾，然后愿意成为我的后盾。
The Olympic gold medalist was verbally harassed by people from all over the world. Thankfully, the people of Taiwan had her back. In these cases, it's important that the victim knows that there is nothing wrong with them. The ones in the wrong are the aggressors.
我觉得只有透过教育，让他去理解。
I think that education can teach people to appreciate and cherish our differences. It can let everyone see that society is full of all sorts of people. We just need to have the vision to appreciate and respect our differences.
These tales of gender struggles serve as a reminder that there is no one way to live life. The different approaches of conforming or not to the gender binary add to the diversity of society. Respecting and appreciating these differences can allow rose boys to continue blossoming and tree girls to keep growing tall.